Welcome back to another edition of Cover One, the Film Room. I'm your host, Eric Turner. Unfortunately, Nate Geary can't join me in the film room today, but that's not going to stop us from breaking down some of this film. We're going to go over several plays of Josh Allen versus the Cardinals. Obviously, a heartbreaking loss against the Cardinals, but it was one that I thought they did a great job of confusing Josh Allen pre to post snap. Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator for the Cardinals, really confused Josh Allen when it came to showing him looks of man versus zone, single high versus two high, when they were going to blitz and when they weren't going to blitz. They use a lot of creeper pressures and simulated pressures at the line of scrimmage to really challenge the Bills' offensive line and Josh Allen's checks and audibles at the line of scrimmage. I think that Brian Daboll did have some trouble helping Josh out in those situations as well. It was a cat and mouse game between Josh Allen, Budda Baker, and Patrick Peterson. You're going to see a lot of those guys moving around, really confusing Josh Allen prior to the snap and having to find them post snap. And I thought that Josh eventually came out of that hole that he kind of went into early in the second half and late into the third quarter. He showed a ton of moxie, competitive toughness, and just that drive to win. You saw that late in the game when, after he had committed turnovers, he got the ball with a few minutes left on the clock, and he drove his team down there to score what we thought was going to be the go-ahead touchdown. Obviously, the Hail Mary put an end to that, but you can't take away what Josh showed at the end of that game, and that's one of the main reasons that the Bills drafted him. And late in that game, it wasn't just arm talent or physical traits type of game from Josh Allen. He was winning from the shoulders up as well. He was winning from the hips down with his legs too. He put it all together at the end of the game, and while they did struggle early in that second half and that third quarter and even early into the fourth, I thought Josh really came about and really showed who he is as a player and the type of character he has late in that game. So let's go ahead and jump into some of the stats from the game, courtesy of Pro Football Focus. So here are some of Josh Allen's stats versus the Cardinals. He finished 32 for 49 for 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and the 2 interceptions came off of plays where he really wasn't under pressure. The first one was against Patrick Peterson, where Peterson just made a really heady play, coming off of his man and undercutting Dawson Knox deep for the interception. The second interception was a pass towards Gabriel Davis on a crossing route where Josh hesitated for whatever reason, and Kirkpatrick, the corner from the Cardinals, undercut it and picked him off. So they were passes that were picked off because of coverage, not necessarily the pressure that the Cardinals were bringing. But when Josh was under pressure, he did struggle as far as yards per attempt goes. You can see he only averaged at 2.7 yards per attempt when the Cardinals had pressure on him, which was 18 dropbacks. There were moments where Josh played hero ball. There were a few plays where he should have just taken sacks. You can see he was not sacked at all on the day, but there were moments where he was under pressure and he should have just thrown it away or taken a sack. We will see a couple of those plays. But again, the great thing about that mentality now is we can see Josh pulling himself out of that hole and digging out of that and obviously leading the team forward and making big plays for his team. So that's something you didn't really see in college, especially against top-tier competition, of the very limited games that he played against top-tier competition. When he went to the hole and when he started creating turnovers and playing that hero ball, he just couldn't get out of it. So that is definitely something that Bills fans have to like. They want that gunslinger mentality, but they don't want him to stay in that mode when he throws an interception or two or when he fumbles a ball away. Bills fans want him to be able to crawl out and lead the team late in the game, and there's no doubt he's been able to do that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get away from the stats and jump into the film room. I told you guys that the defense did a good job of confusing Josh Allen and Brian Daboll to an extent. And here you're going to see the alert call from Josh here, and it's zone coverage. You'll see that alert call because Dawson Knox is coming down, and it appears to be zone coverage. Now, single high safety look, you think it's cover 3. The Bills have basically what is a flood concept to the bottom of the screen called, which is great versus cover 3. The pre to post snap processing is challenging for Josh Allen. It's only a 4-man rush, but there's still pressure on Allen because the Cardinals drop out into a Tampa 2 creeper. So post snap, the coverage goes from a single high zone look to a 2 high look, a Tampa 2 creeper with the corner to the bottom of the screen, Murphy, rushing Josh Allen, and he's the unblocked defender because of the play action to the top of the screen. Josh Allen wants to hit Beasley, but he's not able to let this play develop because of the pressure and that unblocked defender. So he is forced to basically throw it underneath to Stefon Diggs, which is not a big deal because he's wide open over the middle, and it's perfect because Diggs hooks it up because the hook to curl defender to the bottom, and then also because that Mike linebacker in that deep hole because it's a Tampa 2 coverage. So it's an easy read for Josh, but it's one that obviously changed from pre to post snap. Here it is from the end zone angle. Josh fakes it to the left side of the screen here, and he wants to hit Cole Beasley on that deep out route, but he's not able to let it develop because he's got pressure in his face and unblocked defender. As you can see, there are only 4 rushers here, and Josh has to get rid of it. So he finds his outlet. That's Stefon Diggs down low. Now, if this were a cover 3 look, there's a good chance that Diggs is probably going to continue across. Instead, he hooks it up right in the void in that coverage, and Josh checks it down before the defender can get in there and make a play. Fast forward to the second quarter, 2nd and 13 situation. Bills are up 7-3. You see Singletary motion out of the backfield. Linebacker follows him. That shows as man coverage, and it's man across the board. Empty set, man across the board. Josh gives the alert, and he goes and finds his best option. His best option for most of the day was Cole Beasley in the slot to the top of the screen. I like how tall Josh stands in the pocket, and he lets the play develop. He lets Beasley uncover on this follow concept. It's a Haas concept, so you have that slot fade or seam route to the top with a stop route by Singletary, and then a high-low to the bottom of the screen. And again, Josh is targeting the whip route or return route by Cole Beasley versus Byron Murphy in the slot, and the route by Beasley is just too nasty to cover. I mean, how quickly he gets out of that break, how low he is to the ground, the acceleration and burst out of that break is just too hard to cover, and Murphy gets left in the dust. Now watch it from the end zone angle because this is a 4-man rush, but I like Josh standing in the pocket and not letting the traffic in front of him that is flashing right in front of his eyes right there, that little twist on the left side of the screen, it doesn't really affect him. He stands in the pocket. It's a quick, short drop. It's a 0 to 1 step drop, and he just lets it develop, stands in there, and delivers to Beasley for a very good gain on 2nd and 13. It obviously sets up a manageable 3rd down. Here's the 3rd down play by the Buffalo Bills. You see Cole Beasley motion towards the line of scrimmage here, and again, the motion really doesn't help Josh identify much to the top of the screen. It's another empty set, and Josh gets caught staring down his target early on in this play, and under duress, he makes a dumb decision to throw it deep on a deep crosser to John Brown, and Patrick Peterson nearly picks it off. Probably should have had this one. Luckily enough, Devin Singletary comes back and creates some disruption so that it isn't easily intercepted by Peterson, but I don't like Josh Allen's decision here. The route to the top of the screen to Beasley is really where he wants to go with the ball, and that guy covers him really well. Kirkpatrick over the top right here. He does a good job of covering Beasley at the top of this route. He eliminates that route. So now Josh is trying to move on, but he stared Beasley down a little too much. Now he's looking to the over route by Brown right here. But as you can see, the route by Singletary, which he's not even really running. He's kind of running at, 75% here. So he doesn't really stretch the field and force Patrick Peterson deep. And that allows Peterson to kind of play this deep ball on the bad throw from Josh Allen. If Josh would have just had another second, he probably could have hit Diggs right here up towards the top of the screen here. But the pressure was getting to him, and he threw this ball off balance, under duress, and into traffic, but got lucky that Peterson didn't pick it off. All right, moving forward to the second quarter, 7:23 on the clock, 2nd and 10 situation. Lee Smith motions into the formation as the Bills drop into a 2-by-2 set, and they run one of their play-action drop-back game plays where Stefon Diggs just works the cover 3 leverage by Patrick Peterson to the bottom of the screen. So notice where Patrick Peterson is in relation to Stefon Diggs, a couple yards outside him and off coverage, and watch the leverage that he has to maintain because he's in cover 3. And you saw the cover 3 signal from the safety right in the middle of the screen. He's pointing to the sky. That's sky coverage. That's cover 3 sky. And that's why you know that it is cover 3, and you see it post snap as well because the leverage taken by Patrick Peterson, you see him a few yards inside the numbers, and as Stefon Diggs widens him right there, the leverage by Peterson must be maintained. He has to maintain that outside leverage and that cushion. So Diggs' route widens Peterson even more, and then he breaks inside and curls it up, and that's when Josh hits him in the hole. Here it is from the end zone angle. This is a throw from the -44 to the 33-yard line of the Cardinals. Great timing, rhythm, and I love the hitch by Josh Allen in the pocket. So here's a play fake, and you're going to see Josh hitch up in the pocket and rifle it down the field right through that second level window. Good job, good timing. See him hitch up right there, set his feet, and then let it rip through that second level zone for the first down. I thought the coaching staff did a great job towards the end of the first half on defense when the Cardinals had the ball. The Bills used a couple timeouts so that they could give their offense a few minutes to drive down there and also get points. The drive that the Cardinals had got them 3 points on the scoreboard. Defense did a great job there, but gave the ball back to the Bills with some time on the clock. This was that drive. Josh Allen led a 6-play drive, and the drive was capped off with a long field goal by Tyler Bass. But I like Josh on this play. It's a 2x2 set. He's IDing right now and pointing out who the hot routes are, who are they are throwing the hot routes or sight adjustments off. And he does a good job of resetting his throw here and hitting Beasley to the bottom of the screen. They both recognize that the Cardinals were sending a zero blitz, and pre-snap, it doesn't really look like anything special. It doesn't show as a zero blitz, but post-snap, Cole Beasley and Josh Allen are on the same page. Josh Allen's in the quick game, so he immediately turns to the bottom of the screen. He sees Murphy screaming off the edge, and you see him reset right here, and that gets Murphy to stall and jump up, and Josh can then throw it around Murphy's hands right there. That's something the Bills have dealt with a lot this season, those rushers coming off the edge, and Josh Allen having to throw up and around those defenders coming off the edge on those quick passes to the outside into the boundary, just like you see here. So great job of Cole Beasley recognizing this right here, finding that deep defender that has to work over the top of the route by Diggs, getting outside the numbers, showing his numbers, and then getting up the field and out of bounds. Onto another play where Patrick Peterson nearly picks off Josh Allen. So you see Dawson Knox motioning into a stack look to the bottom of the screen. Linebackers with him, so that's identifying as man coverage. And that's the coverage Josh is expecting as they run the deep crossing routes here. So to the bottom of the screen, watch Patrick Peterson. He and Budda Baker behind him are communicating because they are working in tandem to cover Diggs here. They are not going to let Diggs run these crossing routes and have Patrick Peterson chase him all across the field. That is not who Patrick Peterson is anymore. Can he still do it? Yes, but consistently, no. So they gave him help from time to time, and usually that help was Budda Baker here. He gets help over the middle because Baker is almost in a robber type concept coverage, and it fools Josh Allen. Josh Allen also is under duress here and, of course, is nearly intercepted. So on the snap, this looks like man. Josh Allen believes it's man coverage. But again, you have Baker in that robber role, and he's going to overtake Stefon Diggs as he gets deep and across the field. So he slices that route, and that allows Patrick Peterson to fall off and find that deep crossing route by Cole Beasley. There's a chance that maybe Josh could hit Cole Beasley deep towards the numbers there because you see Patrick Peterson kind of pause and look back at the quarterback. So his feet kind of stall here, and if Josh were to anticipate this, and this is a pretty big throw down the field, but if he were to pull a string and throw it down the field with some touch, throw it to a spot, have Cole Beasley run up under it, maybe this has a shot. But because of the pressure that he's seeing in his face right there, there's no way that Josh can set his feet and properly execute this throw with touch down the field. And that allows Peterson to flip his hips and nearly pick off this pass to Cole Beasley. One thing the Cardinals did a lot of, whether they are blitzing or just sending forward, was run these twists, and it gave the offensive line issues from time to time on Sunday, and it affected Josh Allen's spot in the pocket and his footwork mainly. And of course, when Josh wants to hit those deep balls, whether they are with touch or line drives, more times than not, for him to consistently hit that, he needs his footwork. And here, his footwork was not good. His base was not good. And you'll see how it rushes him. That little twist to the left side of the screen rushes him. He's choppy in the pocket. He's coming off the spot right there because of the jam rush inside by Golden. So he slides to his left a little bit, and it screws up his base right here. because the looper is now coming and Bakker does not have him secured. So here comes the looper. There's really nowhere for Josh to set up right here because of that twist, and it affects the footwork by Josh Allen here. He's not able to really set his feet. He tries quickly setting right here, but he's off balance. He's not able to transfer his weight because of the overstride here, and the ball dips on him right there, and Patrick Peterson nearly picks it off. Early in the second half, I thought Josh Allen did a great job of taking what the defense was giving him. Here, the Bills are in 11 personnel at the top of the third quarter, and they motion Dawson Knox into the formation, and Campbell's on him. So the linebacker's on him. It's identifying as man coverage in this 3-by-1 set. To the bottom of the screen is what I want you to really pay attention to, because John Brown is in a nasty split. He's tight to the formation, and he's running a little curl over the middle with the running back running a swing up the sideline. But I want you to pay attention to the coverage being played by the two defenders to the bottom, because it comes into play later on the interception by Patrick Peterson. So as the ball is snapped, watch the coverage between Baker and Kirkpatrick. They are running what we call cone coverage. It's usually used against isolated receivers in 3-by-1 sets, especially when you have guys like Brown and Diggs who are very dangerous down the field. So as Brown comes over the middle and shallow, Budda Baker is going to take him. The linebacker, all he has to worry about is the running back screaming to the flats there. And as John Brown comes over the middle, Budda Baker is going to take him on the 5-yard completion. And then Kirkpatrick, the corner, is going to drop into the deep area. And you can see to the top of the screen, Dawson Knox is running that deep over route, the same route that Josh Allen was targeting on the interception by Peterson. But on this play, again, Josh Allen just takes what the defense gives him. He takes that little curl route. He sees the linebacker screaming out into the flats. He hits John Brown for a simple 5-yard completion. 1st and 10 situation still near the top of the third quarter. Same drive. I liked what Allen was doing on this drive. This is a play where I like it, but I don't like what he did on this play, but I understand why he did it. So the Cardinals post-snap send a pressure off the edge. Murphy blitzes off the edge. So Diggs becomes the sight adjustment. You see him turn, and this is when Josh should really throw it to him. But he doesn't, because he sees Kirkpatrick kind of splitting the difference and playing that pattern match coverage, because the Bills have a 2-on-1 here. They have the numbers advantage to the bottom. It's a quick pass from Josh, but instead of throwing to Diggs, he targets the route that's a little deeper to John Brown at the bottom of the screen. Brown catches it and is able to loop back inside for a first down. So I like where Josh's head is. Should he have just thrown it to Diggs there? Yeah, probably. If he can get it there in a timely manner, in a catchable manner, Diggs probably has a few more yards after the catch than John Brown did here, but I understand why he went beyond Diggs here and hit John Brown. As I said, I really liked what Josh Allen and the Bills did coming out of half. They wanted to play fast. They went to no huddle. They had 4 straight completions on that first drive coming out of the half for 35 yards. This is a play, a go concept that the Bills have connected on several times this year. But as of late, Josh Allen has been holding it a little too long when he really should be taking what the defense gives him. So his read is the flats defender. So on the snap, he's reading the flats defender. And that flats defender right here is squeezing the route by Beasley. So as Beasley goes up the seam, he is squeezing him. That leaves Stefon Diggs wide open. It's a quick pass. It's a 0-step drop. Throw it to Diggs. Take what they give you. He doesn't. He tries scanning the entire field and ends up having to scramble out of the pocket. He extends a play, and he ends up taking a big hit at the end of this that he didn't need to. He needs to take what the defense gives him, throw it to Diggs. Who knows? He catches it, and he gets 5, 10, 15, 30 yards. You don't know. Just take what they're giving you. Throw it to him. Don't take the big hit on this play. This is a play that stunted this drive. This incompletion took them out of the no huddle. And after a couple incompletions and then a short gain on third down, the Bills end up having to punt it coming out of the half. On to the touchdown by Cole Beasley. Bills are in a 3-by-1 set, 11 personnel. And immediately Josh Allen finds Budda Baker. Budda Baker is a single high safety in this set. And it appears like the Cardinals are going to play man coverage. It's 2nd and 2 situation, and I just love how Josh diagnoses what the defense is in, what covers they're playing, and he's patient in the pocket. He lets those routes down the field develop. Now, we're going to focus on Cole Beasley in the slot to the top of the screen because he undresses Patrick Peterson in man coverage. As I said earlier, Peterson can still cover horizontal routes like the Bills were running on this day, but you don't want him consistently doing it, and you don't want him up near the line of scrimmage against a guy as quick as Cole Beasley. Beasley sets him up outside and then still has his two-way go, and that's when he crosses him up, and he's wide open. All he has to do is get across the field behind the linebacker level. He's wide open. Josh Allen hits him for the touchdown. It's just a play that Josh Allen saw the field beautifully. To the right-hand side of the screen, you have two eligible receivers, Dawson Knox and Zach Moss. On the snap, you're going to see Moss released outside. So the linebacker right here now has Dawson Knox. He passes the running back to the safety Thompson right here. So it's man-to-man here, but they pattern match the coverage here. It's something the Bills do as well. But watch Knox and how he attacks that linebacker. Attacks him right at his feet. He gets him right on his toes and then goes outside, forces him to flip his hips and get in his pocket. And that's important because now that linebacker is in man coverage. It's a man turn, and he is turning and running with Knox, and that allows Cole Beasley to easily slip behind the rat defender in the middle of the field. And there's no one, because it's man coverage into the boundary, there is no one to cover him. There is no one to help Patrick Peterson help leverage this route going across the middle. And at this moment is when Josh realizes, okay, Beasley's my target. I need to get my feet in place to make this throw. So you'll see him adjust his footwork, adjust his base right there. Now he's got his feet in place to deliver the throw down the field to Cole Beasley. So a good job of scanning the field from pre to post snap. Watch Josh look left to right, and then he comes back to Beasley. So he's seeing the field and feeling the rhythm of this play. He understands who he's going to throw it to right at that moment, and he hits Beasley for the touchdown. Onto the interception by Patrick Peterson, who is aligned to the bottom of the screen. So the Bills are motioning Knox again, like you saw on that play at the top of the quarter. And this is when Budda Baker and Patrick Peterson are communicating the coverage here on the bottom, because they have Diggs isolated to the bottom of the screen. Again, they're going to play that cone coverage, that bracket coverage towards Diggs. So the motion didn't really help Josh Allen identify whether it's man or zone, and it really didn't help him identify whether it's a 1 or 2 high safety set. So let's walk through what happens here. They have Knox on that deep over route. They have the running back on the swing route. And they have Diggs on what appears to be a dig route or a deep curl route meant to get the attention of Patrick Peterson and Budda Baker. I don't know if this is an in-game adjustment by the staff to have Diggs isolated to the bottom of the screen to get the attention of Budda Baker and Peterson. I don't know. I don't know if this is an actual play call. It looks like the same exact play as earlier. So that is unknown. Either way, it doesn't work. And this is why it doesn't work. So you get the cone coverage. You get Budda Baker's eyes and Patrick Peterson's eyes on Stefon Diggs. Josh Allen gets his eyes on Baker to confirm that coverage and watch that linebacker buzz to the flats with the running back. So that middle of the field opens up just a little bit. Allen believes that Diggs is double covered now, just like Brown was early on in the route that we saw at the top of the quarter. So what does Josh do? He naturally moves on in his progression. If those two defenders are going to occupy and take away Stefon Diggs, I'm going to move on to my progression. I'm going to hit the over route to Dawson Knox. Unfortunately, the route spacing is horrible. Dawson Knox's route and Diggs' route is just way too close to each other. Baker is essentially in trail technique. He's the under coverage on Diggs here, which allows Patrick Peterson to be over the top, to play with his eyes on the quarterback, but more importantly, play with his eyes on the ball. He reads the throw coming from Josh Allen up and over the top. He peels off and intercepts the ball intended for Dawson Knox. So this is just a great play by the Cardinals defense and a heady play by Patrick Peterson. Again, I don't know if this was an in-game adjustment by Diggs to run this route deeper to get both of those defenders occupied. But what I do know is that eventually Peterson comes off that coverage. Diggs stops so that the ball can come through that passing window. But Peterson is able to, again, play over the top and make that interception. So just great scheming by the Cardinals. A good adjustment by that staff. They didn't let Campbell, the linebacker, play on Dawson Knox and be at a disadvantage on a deep over route. Instead, they put Simmons in. He has tight coverage on the play, and the play by Peterson is just better. So it's a good call by the Bills offense, but a better play by Patrick Peterson. Let's watch it from the end zone angle. You see Baker to the right side of the screen here. Watch Josh Allen's eyes. He finds Baker immediately, reads that coverage. It feels the same to him. The linebacker is buzzing to the flats. He has Peterson and Baker taking care of Diggs, who is isolated on the backside of this trips formation. I'm going to move on to my progression. I'm going to hitch up in the pocket. And you see really good mechanics from Josh Allen under duress here. Does that little hop that we saw in the offseason when he wants to throw that ball down the field with touch. And if this isn't picked off, I think this is being caught by Dawson Knox on the back end of this. It's a really good throw. I think it would have been an on-target pass if Knox can dive and make that catch. So overall, again, not a bad play, just better execution and disguised by the Cardinals. So now we're at top of the fourth quarter, 3rd and 11 situation. It's a 7-man protection by the Bills here, and Josh still bails out of the pocket and really puts the ball in harm's way on this play. So you're going to see the Cardinals show pressure, and they eventually do get pressure on Josh Allen, and Allen tries escaping the pocket, but haphazardly throws it to the middle of the field, and luckily Devin Singletary is there to catch the ball and have it not go into the hands of the Cardinals defenders. So let's take a look at it from the end zone angle. So you're going to see a threat in a 2-eye technique. He's in a 2-point stance over to the left guard, Bakker. You're going to see Golden in the B gap, timing the ball. You can see it's a ball read for him. He's waiting for the ball to be snapped. And then they have an edge defender, Isaiah Simmons, on the line of scrimmage out wide. On the snap, the 2 technique linebacker drops out. So now Bakker has to make up some space. He has to kick out wide and overtake Golden, who Dawkins had to help cut off based on what the Cardinals were showing. So he helps Bakker pick up Golden. Then now he has to kick out wide to Isaiah Simmons, who is a great athlete. So it's not an easy job here by Dawkins. Josh Allen feels the pressure and looks to escape the pocket. Unfortunately, Golden's out there as well, and Simmons wraps him up. And as he throws Josh Allen to the ground, this is when Josh Allen decides, oh, I'm going to try to get rid of it on 3rd and 11 here instead of just taking a sack. He haphazardly throws it down the middle of the field, and luckily, Devin Singletary is there to catch it. So just a dumb decision by Josh Allen. After throwing an interception to Patrick Peterson because he was fooled, he now makes this decision, nearly throws another pick here. So this is Josh really reverting to that hero ball mentality. Luckily, Devin Singletary was there to bail him out. This is a play where Josh Allen bypasses throwing the short route to Knox, goes to Gabriel Davis late across the middle, and is picked off by the cornerback. So let's take a look at this 3-level passing concept. The first route is a deep corner route by Stephon Diggs. The second option in this progression is really the first read, Dawson Knox in the flats. The deep crossing route by Gabriel Davis is the second read of this progression. And then finally, Cole Beasley is the outlet on this play action concept. So let's take a look at what happens here. So you get the play fake, and Josh gets his head around, and his first read is Dawson Knox to the flats. He's reading that flats defender, looking at how much depth he has and whether he should just get it to Knox right now. He bypasses him, and now he gets his hips around, ready to throw it. So now he's looking to Gabriel Davis across the middle. There is some separation there, but for some reason he doesn't throw it. You got to keep in mind, he gets his hips around, and he does have to throw this ball pretty far. This is a 28-yard throw, and it has to be on a rope to get to Gabriel Davis before he hits the boundary. Josh holds it a tad too long, throws it late, and Kirkpatrick makes up ground and intercepts it. And you can see it better from the end zone angle. So here's a play fake. Josh is rolling to the field. He gets his hips around, and right now is when the ball should come out. Again, the ball has to travel nearly 30 yards with Kirkpatrick in trail here, and you can see him. He's kind of stumbling. Josh holds it a tad too long and tries throwing it with velocity down the field. Kirkpatrick now is able to make up that ground. If Josh threw this on time, I think it has a chance. Should he have just thrown it to Knox? Yeah, I think he should have probably just thrown it, dumped it down there with how much time was on the clock, but he's trying to make a play down the field. There is separation. He just has to throw the ball now. Get rid of it, throw it out in front of Davis, and Davis, even though the ball is late, he has to work back to the ball. You see him work just outside the 40-yard line. You want to see him work back to the ball so that he can cut off the line that Kirkpatrick takes to the ball on this play. Gabriel Davis has done that before for Josh Allen. He has worked back to the ball and become QB friendly for Josh before, but he doesn't on this play, and the ball is intercepted by the Cardinals. 3rd and 4 situation, 2:57 on the clock. The Bills are in an empty set with Diggs and Beasley in the slots. I like how Josh Allen stands in the pocket and makes this throw under duress to Cole Beasley, who is in the slot to the top of the screen. Beasley climbs the ladder, catches it, gets his 2 feet in bounds for the first down. Really helps his quarterback here. So let's take a look at this play. It's just Beasley undressing Murphy in man coverage here to the top of the screen. Does a good job of uncovering. Josh is able to get rid of it off platform for the first down. So let's take a look at why Josh Allen was under duress here. So the Cardinals are showing 5 pass rushers up near the line of scrimmage. So Feliciano slides the protection to his right. So on the snap, Dawkins has to protect that interior gap. And if no one shows, then he has to go kick out wide to get the edge rusher. And he does that. He makes up a good amount of ground, but now he has to anchor right at the feet of Josh Allen. That guy does a great job of converting speed to power, pushes Dawkins right into the lap of Josh Allen. Josh has to still make this throw with all arm here. He has no feet here. He's able to get it out to Beasley, and that's why it's off target. It's a little high, but Beasley climbs a ladder and converts the first down. 1:35 left on the clock, 2nd and 13 situation. This is a dagger concept, that deep in-breaking route by Cole Beasley over the middle. Watch how he changes the speed and pace of this route halfway through it as he gets vertical. And then the incredible hip shift at the top to separate from Byron Murphy, the cornerback here. Diggs is running that deep over route, that deep flag route to clear out the coverage. You see him take one of the defenders from the middle of the field. He takes Buda Baker deep as well. And that allows Beasley to be one-on-one with Murphy. And he does a great job of working back to the ball. He beats Murphy around the corner. He breaks inside, but then he works back to the ball. You see him come across the field right around the 28-yard line, but he ends up outside of the 30. Josh Allen's movement in the pocket here is really what gets this ball down the field. Watch how he manipulates the pocket as Brian Winters gets beat several times. He essentially is the reason that Winters is able to get in front of this pass rusher and to stay clean. And as soon as he slides to his left right here, that's when he knows he's got to get rid of it, because that pass rusher is now converting back to an inside move. He's able to find his platform and then rifle it down the field for the first down. Just great work in the pocket by Josh Allen of manipulating the pocket so that Brian Winters can stay in front of this pass rusher, sliding in the pocket, finding a platform, and then finding his receiver down the field. The final breakdown is the touchdown to Stefon Diggs. 2nd and 1 situation. It's 39 seconds left in the game. Josh Allen's anticipation and arm strength is on full display on this throw. Ball's on the right hash. Bills are 11 personnel, 3-by-1 trip set. Trips is set to the field to the top. And as you can see, the Bills have a good combination coverage beater here. To the top of the screen is Gabriel Davis running an in-breaking route. Beasley's running an out route. And then you have that sail route or corner route by Diggs. So if it were to be some type of too high safety look, Josh is probably going to hit Beasley on that deep out route. But on this play, it's showing as a single high coverage set. And Patrick Peterson is one-on-one with Stefon Diggs in the slot. And Diggs just takes off as the ball snaps. He is not stopped by Patrick Peterson. He has a free release, free reign to get downfield. He gets vertical. Josh gets to the top of his drop, quickly sets his feet, and then rifles this pass with anticipation. Again, this ball is spotted on the right hash. He throws it to a spot 4 to 5 yards deep in the back of the end zone. So that's the right hash to the far boundary, thrown from the plus 31 of the Cardinals to right around 4 or 5 yards deep. And it's on a rope. And Josh hits it. He throws it to a spot, and he counts on his guy to be there. He counts on Diggs to make this tough catch along the boundary. He has some of the best boundary awareness in the league, and he shows it here as he dives for the touchdown. In order for Josh to push it down the field, the offensive line and running back had to do a good job of picking up their pass rushers. And you see that here. Dawkins, Botker, Feliciano have the 3 defenders off to the left. Moss inserts into the A-gap to take the linebacker. And then the man-sided protection is Brian Winters and Darrell Williams taking the 2 defenders to the right side of the screen. They do a great job of picking up all of their guys, and that gives Josh a good pocket. And you see him take that 5-step drop, and he hits the top of the drop, quickly sets his feet, and lets it rip. And it's a quick set, too. You see him nice and slow in his drop, but then he realizes, oh my gosh, that window's coming. I need to get rid of it. Boom. Out of his hands, down the field, on a rope for the touchdown. This is just a clutch performance by Josh Allen. I know the Bills lost this game, but the way that Josh came through in the end is exactly why the Bills drafted him. And it's exactly why Bills fans love this kid. He's able to pick himself up off the ground and make throws like this, and everyone on this team loves playing for a guy like that. And you can see that as Stephon Diggs catches a touchdown here. You can see Beasley celebrating. You see the sideline erupt here. Everyone believes in Josh Allen, and Josh Allen, more times than not, comes through in the clutch. I'm your host, Eric Turner, and I appreciate you joining me in the film room. Be sure to share this video and subscribe to the Cover One YouTube channel. And as always, we appreciate the support. See you in a couple weeks.